items? Just two items? Just two items. What public comment, so they can read them. This would be actually quick.
Call this meeting to order at 6 o'clock. Please rise to the pledge of allegiance and moment of silence. Mr. Morales, would you please lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Move on to establishment of quorum.
Guillermo Madrid.
Here.
Mary Garcia is absent. Gloria Rodriguez.
Here.
Jesse Ganda.
Here.
Maria Reyes. Mayor Pro Tem, we have quorum.
Moving on to public comments.
I have a motion to move public comment to after item 13.
I second the motion.
Then we have a motion on the floor to move public comment after item number 13, seconded by Guillermo Madrid.
For your knowledge, council, agenda items that are listed are 7 and 9. That may bear into your decision.
No. Okay. Take a vote.
We have a motion on the floor, seconded. Guillermo Madrid.
Yes.
Gloria Rodriguez. Maria Reyes.
Motion passes. Moving on to item number 5, presentation of Project Amistad by Vincent Huerta in reference to the bus transportation routes in El Paso County.
Good evening, all. Good evening. My name is Vicente Huerta. I'm the Director of Transportation for Project Amistad. We're here just to do a brief presentation over the services that we have available in the area. We are a number of programs. These are primarily the programs the agency has with the numerous contracts that we have. We do the Medicaid program, which is medical transportation in the area. We have some other contracts. One of them would be the Area Agency on Aging. There's numerous contracts that are listed there. One of the primary contracts that I came to discuss, so that everybody could be aware, is the New Freedom program that we have in the area. We currently have a couple of New Freedom programs that are existent right now in the area, where we're providing service to the individuals in the zip code of 27. We're starting with the New Freedom program number 5 and number 6. These are commuter services that we will have for the area. The idea of the commuter service is to provide service from certain areas, certain pickup points, strategically organized throughout the area, to shuttle them into the city to receive. Under the New Freedom program, it could be medical, it could be social visits, entertainment, for numerous reasons. It really just it's open for whatever it is that the individual would need in terms of service. Right now, I think very importantly to mention, one of the programs that's not on here is New Freedom 3, which is coming to the end at the end of August. But it is important that everybody knows, because we did recently get some money transferred from preventative maintenance into the program. So at least for the duration of the end of the fiscal year, which will be to the last day of August, we will have units available, and the $2 fee that you see there for a one-way trip does really does not apply when we're talking about that particular program. Unfortunately, after the cycle ends at the end of August, the $2 fare will come back. So if somebody is interested in this service, they're open to call our office, communicate our office, and I'll put the number up in just a minute so that they can be qualified and get on and use the service. Again, this is primarily, the New Freedom program is primarily for individuals qualify through WILAB, the Center for Independent Living. They just have to schedule a trip, which we transport them to get qualified. Once they're qualified, they just call us up to set up transportation and be transported wherever they need to go. It is a 24-hour service. It is 7 days a week. So again, we also have a job access program, which is job access is primarily to give people the access to go to work, provide service to go to work, school, educational purposes. We do have a fixed route in the west part of the county. We also have one in Montana. But we also have services that we provide here in the area. We have a contract under DART 5 with EPC students coming from the Rio Vista area, going back and forth to both the Mission and the Valle Verde campus at El Paso Community College. Under DART 6, it is open for commuter service. It's just a matter of getting those calls, getting those people signed up and qualified for the service. Once they're qualified, once they're signed up, we begin to develop the different points depending on where those people live and where they're going. So ideally, we'd like to begin to organize this service according to where the people would need to go and where they would need to be picked up. The services, like I said, are for interviews, application purposes, job sites, job training, work-related, and again, this is a 24/7 service, so it's available pretty much 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. The El Paso County Rural Transit routes, you might be familiar with those. There's Route 10 on the west portion, Route 20 up in Montana. 30 and 40 both come through the area. 30 goes up to Verizon, but it does go through the area. It comes right up to here to Alameda Street, and then it goes up to Verizon. But the Route 40 does come straight through here, Alameda, all the way to Tornillo, and then it returns back. There is a $2 fare in this particular service that we do. The county contracts with us to provide this service. And this service does go to the Sun Metro Terminal transfers. On the previous programs, we'd basically be taking individuals directly wherever it is that they have to go. We go straight to wherever it is they need to go. We wouldn't take them to the transfer points. That's the primary difference. That's pretty much it for me. If anybody has any questions? Yes, sir.
That $2 fee is for the disabled and so forth. That doesn't apply. Is that what you said?
What I was saying is under the program New Freedom 3, it's coming to an end. The fiscal year, since it is one of the programs that we've had active for 3 years, is coming to an end as of August 31st, the last day of August. Right now, for just the time being, and I know this may seem a little confusing, but just for the time being, because the contract was coming to an end, we had some preventative maintenance money that was able to be transferred into operations. We were able to provide additional trips. As a result of that, we're soliciting the service to try to get riders to use it so that we don't have to send the money back. That's the idea. So just for the time being, we don't have the fare active. Again, it's just till the last day of August to try to use up those trips. Once that day comes, then we implement the fare comes back.
So in essence, what you need is, what I see is from the city, you just need a contract to let you in and have some routes approved by the city so you can have your buses within the city's portal, or the routes that you use right now only?
Well, right now, they're through some of the different contracts, through the state contracts, we're serving some of the population here through some of the state contracts. So this particular contract, there is some service being provided, and primarily this is more of an informative piece. But when it comes to the new contracts that we would be applying for, which come in December, the new funding period, we'd like to become partners in this process so that we can apply for these monies jointly and hopefully develop a relationship so that you all can provide the suggestion of where, or the input as to where the services are needed so that we can now begin to develop some more streamlined services as opposed to just kind of taking calls that are coming in. The idea would be that we somehow partner so that, we'd apply for the funding, obtain the funding, and then we could serve the needs of the individuals in the area that need the service.
In the partnership, would there be a financial aspect to the city?
I think that You know, it would just depend on what specifically we agree to do. For the most part, these grants are funded at a 50% ratio when it comes to operations. The capital piece, which would be vehicles, assuming we need new vehicles, bigger vehicles, that piece goes at an 80-20 match. We typically apply for these contracts from year to year, so certainly the idea is looking to find ways of meeting that 50% match when it comes to operations. There is in-kind match as well, so something as simple as
In the current ridership, that is X trips a week, a month, how do you measure it?
the existing ridership.
So we got a baseline, so to speak.
Currently, in the area, are you asking in a specific area? We have two programs that we're running in the area. That would be the New Freedom 3 and the Dark 4. Roughly, we're running about 50 to 80 trips a month, roughly.
Okay, all right. So 3 a day. Okay, that's on that order. Okay.
Now,
And you would anticipate that level of service going forward, or some anticipation of a projected increase?
I would anticipate an increase simply because we don't, some of these grants, well, the majority of these grants don't allow for the marketing dollars, so a lot of people aren't aware of the service. It's pretty much word of mouth and just getting the word out through the service we're currently providing.
Okay.
So ideally, I'd like to think through a partnership, we could develop some way of educating people, either, flyers and so on, to begin to utilize the service.
Okay. Yeah, Council, I'd recommend to you that we continue this dialogue to hopefully try to reach the partnership, and this will be, from a staff perspective, will be something that would run out of our community services.
Yeah, you're right. I've been approached by people because of the need of some transportation.
Bless you.
And they inquire as to how we can garnish that, get something going. Obviously, this is a stepping stone for us, stepping stone higher, because we do need that transportation. But as our city manager explained, having some dialogue with you, setting up some ideas and how we can work this in is crucial to us, because we have a lot of population that depend on transportation to get to and from, especially the seniors. So that would be ideal for people like that. That's why I was concerned about the cost that you mentioned, and well, with that, we can come up with some type of agreement and we can work on it.
I'd also involve operationally the community services, but in the development of the contract, that our grant writer would get involved in that piece of it.
Yes,
I just think it's very good progress that you're bringing that back, because it will help the citizens that really need it. I think it would be advantageous for us to take advantage of such a situation.
Great. Yeah, I think what I can do is follow up and bring back some real numbers and some stats that we have that will probably give you a better idea of what areas we're serving, and this way we can coordinate. And again, right now, we want it just as an informative piece, and hopefully we'll step in the right direction. I appreciate your all's time.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We'll keep in touch.
A few moments.
What was the item that you had problem with, 7
7, 7 is good. I mean, they get their private now.
Oh, yeah, I think you said it.
Just 7 and 8.
7 and 9. That's what's good.
Show the number 9. No, show the number 9.
Okay.
Okay,
So, yeah.
Number 6. That's right. That's just good. That's okay.
We're moving into public hearing now for, to reiterate what was said at the beginning of the meeting, which is personal attacks will not be allowed. This is an opportunity for the public to give us their opinion on the item on the agenda. And so we ask again that you stick to the item on the agenda. So we move on to public hearing, item number 6. Public hearing on ordinance 106, amendment number 3, entitled, an ordinance regulating transient vendors within the city limits of the city of Socorro, Texas. We open up this public hearing at 6:14. Do we have any speakers on the transient vendors ordinance? I go to the next item on the agenda, which is item number 6, public hearing. If there are no speakers on the public hearing, we'll close that at 6:15. We move into item number 7, public hearing on an ordinance of the city of Socorro providing penalties for contempt and failing or refusing to obey any subpoena or to produce any books, papers, or other evidence, and for punishment of contempt in connection with any subpoena, court proceeding, civil service commission proceeding, or official hearing conducted by the city of Socorro or its officers, agents, commissions, and hearing officers, exercising official authority and for disruption of any public meeting or a hearing conducted before commission, the Socorro Planning and Zoning Commission, the Socorro Historical Landmark Commission, the Socorro City Council, or before any official hearing officer appointed to hear matters pursuant to the authority of the city of Socorro, and for all other matters germane thereto. We open up this public hearing at 6:15. Are there any speakers on the subpoena ordinance? And again, this is a 30 minutes, as far as there's 30 minutes, so we'll give an opportunity to talk.
Yes, thank you. I would like to just make a comment regarding this item on the agenda. I wish that we would have had that authority back then when I was chairing the commission, the Historical Landmark Commission, because definitely there would have been some issues that we should have brought to the forefront regarding the need to follow procedures for certain historical registered landmarks. And also, it is a little bit, I think that what we have on the charter is one thing, but then yet all that is stipulated here, and the fines and everything that is on here, I think it's a little bit weighty too much, in the sense that we leave it open at the end, and matters remain there to you. So I think that it's just a little bit too much for the public. Now some of the people will be even afraid to come before city council to make comments and to voice their opinion in regards to, are they going to come after me for saying something very simple before them? Are they going to subpoena me, or are they going to request and this and that from the community simply for a comment that they make here, voicing their rights to items that they might not agree to? So I'm telling you that I hope that it is really in compliance with the charter, as stated in the charter, and that it is not taken further than it should have been.
Thank you, Ms. Thomas. Is there anybody else who'd like to speak on the subpoena ordinance? There being none, we close the public hearing at 6:17. We move on to item number 8, second public hearing on an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Socorro, Texas, providing for the issuance of not to exceed $2,700,000 for the City of Socorro, Texas combination tax and surplus revenue certificates of obligation, Series 2011, bearing interest at the rates to be set forth in the ordinance, to secure funds for the purpose of paying contractual obligations incurred for 1, constructing, reconstructing, and improving sidewalks, street, and roads, including bridges and intersections, landscaping, traffic safety, and operational improvements, culverts, and related storm drainage and utility relocation, and the acquisition of land and interest in land as necessary therefore. Number 2, acquisition of vehicles and equipment for the Public Works Department and Police Department. Number 3, construction and installation of municipal drainage improvements. Number 4, acquisition of land and design and construction of park and recreational facilities and improvements. Number 5, design, construction, improvement, and equipment of community center facilities. 6, acquisition of computer equipment and software for city offices. And 7, legal, fiscal, and engineering fees in connection with such projects, prescribing the form of certificates of obligation, levying ad valorem taxes for the payment of principal and interest on the certificates of obligation, making certain other covenants of the city in reference to these certificates of obligation and the funds from which such certificates of obligation are to be paid, approving an official statement and awarding sale of said certificates of obligation, and enacting other provisions related thereto. We open up this public hearing at 6:19. Are there any speakers on this issue? Ms. Ramos, please step forward.
Yes, Mayor and Council, I would like to just make a comment regarding, we have had many certificates of obligations that the city has asked for, and I know that it is the taxpayers that will be paying for them. And at this point, again, I will say there is so many things that are being set forth here, but we would have liked to have seen a plan in more detail. Community, I believe, is entitled to see future plans for the city of Socorro. And though you have mentioned here all of this, we have heard this before as well, as you are going to obtain certificates of obligation for this project and that project, and I have yet to see the certificate of obligation of 2001 for that museum that was supposed to have been worked on since 2001. There is monies that are still there, but have not been utilized for that museum. We're still waiting as a community for that museum, and it has not come to fruition. I know that I have asked many times to be able to meet with our city manager, and to no avail, I could not get that meeting. And it was to specifically write that report, present before city council regarding those certificates of obligation monies for that museum, to prepare a project to move forward with it. But I never was able to get that meeting with our city manager. Paving of streets, how many streets have we paved? And I mean the professional way. We have paved streets, yet we have had to tear them apart again for installing water lines, sewer, and then again, there's many that have gone unpaved, and yet they have told us many times, we're going to pave streets, we're getting certificates of obligation for this and that project, and yet we're yet to see them happen. So I'm asking, you're really putting us in debt. Are we really going to see these projects happen? And the last thing I have to say is that, where was the community input on all these projects that you're proposing? I've never received an invitation for, let's say, for example, the swimming pool. Our district board is proposing to ask for somebody to do the swimming pool in District 4. For the part that you're proposing, there are so many things that have not been, public has not been allowed to voice. I ask you that all of these projects that you have here, give the public the opportunity to let you know what their priorities are, not yours, the community's priorities. Sometimes fun is great, but there are other priorities. There is a need to us as community. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ramos. Is there anybody else who'd like to speak on the bonds? Please come forward.
Before I get started, I wanted to ask a question. You have item 8 as the second public hearing, and you have item number 15 as the first reading. Are these two the same items?
Again, this isn't for discourse, this is
Well,
for public comment on this issue.
but
We get to
still-
that item, you signed up for it, you can ask a question, when council doesn't get public comment, we'll
But
ask
still,
questions.
a first reading comes before a second reading, Mr. Cantala.
Again,
And
that's
the
right.
reason I just want to make sure that you're not putting one before the other, because the law says you do the first reading first and then you do the second readings. And I'm
Council, the
concerned-
items are correctly listed on the agenda and properly in order according to the state financing law by virtue of our firm and also by virtue of your bond counsel in Dallas.
Okay, that's what I wanted to find out. Thank you. One of the things that I am concerned about is, this council has already gone into several certificates of obligations. and I'm very concerned. As you well know, the economy is not doing very well, and we're looking at problems within the economy, and we're talking nationwide. One of my biggest concerns is that a lot of people here in Socorro have lost their jobs, and I can say that a lot of people are not being able to stay up financially. I'm requesting at this time for this city council to deny the obligations. And if there's any other thing that I could do to get you all to deny it, the reason is, what is the interest rate? I don't know how much the interest rate that you all are going to take with these bonds. How are these bonds going to be spent? Are you going to follow through as you did in the past? Are you going to continue that same step, or are you going to do something different? I am very concerned. But my major concern is the interest rate, and how long, how many years? Till what year are we going to be paying on these bonds? You know, we're not getting any younger, we're getting older, our income are decreasing instead of increasing. I am requesting for this city council to deny certificate of obligations. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Williams-Marty. Anybody else like to speak on this issue? Mr. Tommy Faulkner, please step forward.
Good evening, Council. I got two signed papers here, petitions of people. Some are here, some couldn't be here. People that want to protest and do not want the certificate of obligations. The city's already is debt too much. Even from when I was in council, we had one certificate of obligation. We do not need no more. The funds are being misspent and all that. For driveways, we need to get, instead of driveways, we need to get the streets paved and everything else. Still, the lighting needs to be put up for the people at Dino. There was still lighting that has been left from behind from prior council. It has not been finished putting up. I'd like to find out what happened to the funds on those lightings also. And on different findings from 2004 series, there's 23,500 of financial and bond insurance costs to the 2004 series, 169,000. Also, Allied paving, the streets under the Orchard grant. Just different findings from the White, Samaniego, and Campbell, the audit, when I was in office also. You was there also, Jeff. A lot of the findings.
Mr. Faulkner, please do not address the
No,
council
sorry.
personally. Please do not lobby personal tax. Next time you break that comment.
You was in office as we were to all of us, council, people, different people were in, and everything that's going on, it needs to be stopped. There's too much funds that are not taken care of. That's what we need. If you can get some copies of these, I'd like to keep the originals if possible.
Go ahead and meet with Mr. Leone, and after the meeting, we'll make copies. We'll get to you. Thank you, Mr. Faulkner. Is there anybody else who'd like to speak on this issue? There being none, we close the public hearing at 6:27.